Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at NECA's Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Ezio Auditore. I don't know if I got it right. Legendary Assassin. Now, I already did this one over here. This one is completely different. I believe the buck is the same, just by the quick looks of the hands and everything, but the overlay is completely different. He comes with two different head sculpts. He does come with the same crossbow, but it looks like his sword and a couple other things hopefully are a little bit different, but we're going to take a look at this one. He's in white and red. I actually like the way this one looks a little bit better. He really pops. So, Ezio Auditore. If I'm saying it wrong, please tell me in the comments, but I'm not really sure how you could explain to me how it's actually said. I had to go back and watch my original video because I had asked my son about it. Anyway, so here we are. Now, this is the Ubisoft original figure. See how the sides look, and on the back here, you kind of get to see him in all his glory. There he is with his hood, and there he is with the hood off, and obviously holding the crossbow. So, let's not waste any more time. Let's take a look at this figure, see if it's like that one. I really like the figure. You're not going to get a lot of articulation out of it, but it is a really fun figure, and you can do a lot of good action shots with it, especially if you get stuff like Savage Crucibles and you want to do some fighting scenes against them. So anyway, let's go take a look at this, and not me. But before we do, take a second. If you like this type of stuff that I'm giving you, take a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a video like this. Now let's get to this. Alright, so I got this figure out. I did pick him up at Best Buy, $28. Great price, to be honest. So, now this is an open window package. Now, what is nice, if you're going to open these up, which I feel you should, you can pop this out if you just want him by himself and you just want to have some sort of background to do shots, or just have him just standing there so you have some sort of background for him. So that's just a nice little treat that they do give you. Again, it's not really going above and beyond. It's just something that is nice to have. So quickly, we'll take a look at his crossbow. Now, this is the same crossbow that we see over here. Now, let's grab it and quickly taking a look at it. I don't think there's really anything that's different. So it looks like it has the exact same paint apps. So I'm not going to continue to compare it, but I will show this one off in case you guys didn't see my last video. And I will post a link at the end to that video. So as you can see, that looks really nice. Get some nice detail there. Here you got your silver and your gold. I do like the fact that there is actually a rope here to show that it's a crossbow. It looks worn, and I love the fact that it looks worn because this is something this guy has been out there. He's obviously been fighting. I don't need a bolt to go with it. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure. I guess the bolt would shoot out of there, but everything here, again, the detail on it. NECA is wonderful with this stuff, so you're not going to get chints there at all. We get to his sword, and I like this sword much better than I like the what came with the last one here. So look at that silver. It's nice and straight. It has a little bit of give to it, but it is solid. It's not rubbery at all, but I don't feel like it's just going to break. It is sharp enough that it can poke you pretty good, so just be careful there. So you have the gold and brown to protect his hand while he's fighting. Here you have the, I would assume this is your front hand guard, and the detail around that just looks really good. And you can see how it's engraved, how just the detail right there. I don't see anything beat up on this. A lot of times they'll have their weapons and you can see that they're beat up and janked up. And that's a good thing because it's showing that they've been in battles and different things like that. So here's the little knives. And if I am remembering correctly, these will actually go inside his sleeves as his weapons that he uses when he's doing an assassin. When he's being an assassin. So, and then here is the second head sculpt. Paint looks really good. Eyes, he's looking straight. Nice hair, especially for back in that day. but I don't see any issues. No paint, just kind of rub or anything. He's got his ponytail, and it is flexible enough, so hopefully it will give his head a little bit of movement up and down. Then what you're going to get is that's your crossbow hand. Here he has his thumb wrestling hand, but it is more or less his, I would say, his sword hand. Maybe this is for his sword hand. Not exactly sure. That seems more like a sword hand than this one. His Fonzie hand. And then you have to have his open hands, because this is where the knife is going to come out. So you really want this to be out of the way. I guess you could also, if he had a fist, so you could be using the fist that they got here. So now let's take a look at this figure, and we'll go over the articulation and everything. So head is going to move back and forth, and it moves up and down just a bit. As for T-pose, he doesn't get a huge one, although I feel like this one maybe articulates a little bit better than the other one. So it's not a bad T-pose at all. He gets his, not really a bicep swivel, but a shoulder swivel. His, unfortunately, no double joints. So he doesn't even get a 90 degree. This is where you're really living in that Super 7 Ultimates world, but I can kind of I can deal with it because it is still cheaper than a Super 7 Ultimates, and honestly, it looks better than one. He does have the ab crunch, and he actually gets a pretty good ab crunch there. And he can look back. All right. His wrists are going to swivel. These are going to pop off. There's his Jean-Claude Van Damme, which actually isn't that bad for not having drop-down hips. Let's see if we can kind of look up here. I'm not really trying to look up there. He can kick up that far. And he can kind of kick back. So you can kind of make him walking. No double pinless joints, but again, with this right here, you're not going to have any problems. So no issues. I haven't had to heat them up, although those noises really kind of scare me. Let's see if I can get that other part of the knee. All right. Now, it is in the 90s here in Michigan, so got that knee. But just be careful. If you feel like you're going to break your figure, if you feel like there's too much pressure, take a second and heat the figure up, all right? There's no reason to be He-Man. I have an idea. I can kind of feel the pressure, and I'm also trying to demonstrate to you guys. That's kind of why I'm willing to take the chance. But there you go. Really no issues, but if you have to heat this figure up, it's not the worst thing in the world. There you have his ankle rockers. He does have a boot cut, it looks like. And he does have some toe articulation. Now, I don't have a huge problem, in all honesty, standing this other one, but they're also not the greatest standing figure. Now, looking at this, he does have a heel on his boot, so he might be a little bit harder, or he might be a little bit easier because of that. All right. God, that noise is awful. They don't always use the greatest plastic. I will tell you that about NECA. But their face sculpts are awesome. So quickly, let's take a look at this. And then we'll swap the heads, throw on the weapon, see how he looks. So here you have this wonderful, pliable hood, which I really do like. There's texture all through the back. Not as much as it's in my beat-up hands, but someone will probably complain about that. I need to use lotion. Wouldn't be the first time. You have your detail in the back here. This piece that's going to hold on his cape, wrapping around. And just look at that wonderful detail. Like, it just is, they really do a marvelous job. But sometimes these are more statues than action figures. I'm not going to lie about that. His gauntlets. He has what looks like an eagle on it. I thought it was an angel at first, but it looks like an eagle. I don't know anything about the video game. I am reviewing an action figure. Just remember that. So don't get mad at me because I don't know what it actually is, because I don't know the video game. And I like the fact that you can see his sleeve coming out from underneath it. And then on his wrestling, on his World Wrestling Federation belt here, you can see his little knives that he has, which every assassin, I guess, should have. There's 5 on that side and 5 on this side, and I don't believe they come out. No, they don't. But this guy is a world champion for sure. This is no Intercontinental Championship. But the design on it is really nice. Now, really, all you're going to get on this is this gold, red, and gray. There's a few, obviously there's some black, but that's mostly what this figure is. I guess you do get the legs, where there are 2 different colors of black, but I think that's just the different types of plastic that they're using. The boot, the little painted buckle goes so far. Like, that really pops, and especially considering that's what you're going to see, and you see it actually better than the pins. So, all in all, that looks really good. So let's pop this head off here, and let's see how easily it comes off. Again, you may need to heat this up. I haven't really had that many issues with my NECA, but people have had issues with stuff breaking, and I almost feel like I might just need to go. Wow, that is a really, really... Well, that peg I don't think is going to break, but man, is that thing tiny. That's what she said. Now, I really wanted to use this head rather than the hood, but as I see the hood, I just think the hood looks way better. Now, using something this tiny, I think it might be best to heat him up. As you can see, I'm not doing that. So, what I'm going to go do is I'm going to stop this for a second. Actually, we'll go over everything, then I'll go heat the head up and pop it on. Alright, so this is what I was talking about with the knives. So, in this part right here, these things will slot in here. So when he's being an assassin, it's going to hold just like that. And for this one, he actually has it on both sides. One over here, oh, he actually has it on both sides, but he has 2 different things. So, these are the exact same from what I can see. Now, this one is kind of difficult to get in. There we go. And all you're going to do is you're going to kind of pull it out if you want it extended, and then you're going to push that thing in. But it is really hard to leave that thing in all the time. All right? Wow. And I gotta say, they did a pretty good job. Like, I really didn't even notice that that's what that spot is for. I just thought that's kind of where it's open. But that is the opening to hold that thing on. So now I'm wondering if I can get the wrist. Oh, the hands come off pretty easily. All right, so let's try and get this in here. So that popped in nice and easy. Slide that sword down. Right now I have a second Headless Horseman, because I technically have one up there from Mythic Legions. And let's pop off this punching hand, and we'll throw on, of course, everybody wants to see him holding his crossbow, which you can hold pretty nicely. I know what you're saying. You still haven't put his head on there. What we're going to go do is I'm going to heat it up in a second and then see how fast you can. Now, remember, if you got something like this and you need to heat it up, you don't need to heat the figure up. You just need to heat the head up, because this is what you want to get soft so you can pop it onto the neck peg. So let me stop this and then I'll be right back. Magic is you won't even know I'm gone. Alright, and you guys didn't even see that I was gone. So I heated up the head here. Now let's see how easily this thing kind of plugs right on here. Hopefully it's fairly easy. Alright, so that way it went on without a problem. Now I do seem to be having an issue keeping this in his hand, so you're just going to have to play around with it. I think actually with this guy here, so what I actually did with the other version, now that I remember, is I did use this. And I used this here, like so. And it plugs in the way that it's supposed to. Maybe. But then what I kind of used it was Kind of use that to hold it on it. And then it stays in place a little bit better. So you don't really have to worry about it falling out nearly as easy. So you just kind of use this there. You're not going to notice. He's not really going to cut himself. You can push it in a little bit more. With this one, I used that. But now what I'm actually wondering about is, I don't know if this head actually comes off, because there's no reason to take it off, at least not that I remember. Actually, I know it wasn't, because I just bought this, and he wasn't, he didn't have a second head. So I wonder if I can pop this head off. Like, you got the same peg here. So while his head is still fairly warm, you can still see it does fall off. All right, so if you are looking for a unhooded version of this one, and I forget what this one's name was, I do apologize, their heads are interchangeable. So there you go. That is something that is easily changed. And again, the red matches the rest of his suit. So there you go. If you like it like that, awesome. I was actually really going to go with that head, but the more I kind of looked at this, I like this head sculpt more. And again, I'm wondering if I'm going to have to heat this up, and with the magic of stopping. All right, so that one popped on. So I actually like this one a little bit more. They are two different. It looks like they're probably the same head sculpt, to be 100% honest. But they do have two different hoods. So, all right. So what I have back here that magically popped up there was a Savage Crucible, and despite the issue with the ankles right now, but from what I understand, they're supposed to be getting it fixed. These are really wonderful creatures, figures. Again, Savage Crucibles, and as you can kind of see, I have him in a fighting position, but he is in a 7-inch form. So these two will actually work wonderfully if you want to fight them. He's going to fall over because, as I mentioned, his ankles are really a problem. But they're supposed to be addressing that. Here is Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. And they stand on 7-inch too, so I pop this guy up, you can see exactly how he fits. So if you're looking for someone to fight something like this, you want to use some sort of mythical creatures, both of these are easily available. I believe these are $35. These are $38. He stands at $28, but you're going to be able to get some wonderful, wonderful pictures, and I'll do a few pictures at the end here with them. So all in all, another nice looking Assassin's Creed figure. I couldn't leave this guy alone. I have to kind of decide whether or not I want to go with the hood or leave him with that on. But I really like the white hood. Man, that came out wrong. Alright. So there you go. He stands actually pretty well. So I'm not overly concerned about it. And the hands popped out real easy. So let's wrap this up. Alright, so there you go. That is the Ezio Auditore. I don't know if I'm saying that right. If I'm completely butchering it, I might be. But again, nice looking figure. I kind of forgot to mention the cape here that's kind of hanging over. I did mention how this holds the cape on. I didn't really look at the cape, but you have the white on the outside, red on the inside. $28. Again, not the most action-packed action figure, but you can get a lot of action. You can get a lot of photography and a lot of shots out of this, and it's just a good figure. Like, if you really like Assassin's Creed, I say pick this up. Again, to me, $28. I know it's a lot of money, but when it does come to the collecting world, it's not crazy. Not when it comes to the 1/12 scale. So I'm going to get out of here. You should go pick this up. I normally don't tell people to go pick things up, but I really do think that these figures, both of them, are really nice. And this was a Target exclusive, although it showed up at Best Buy. So I'm not exactly sure. It'll probably be popping up at most of your local toy stores, probably like Sergeant Reg's and places like that. But keep an eye out for it. Best Buy does have them. We've seen them at numerous Best Buys. You might catch it at Target. It was part of their thing a couple weeks ago. So anyway, here he is. Ezio Auditore. I don't know if I said that right. Assassin's Creed. He's the ultimate assassin. And how is Assassin's Creed? How can he not be an ultimate assassin? Anyway, I gotta get out of here, alright? But you guys know the drill. Instagram, A Punk with Toys. There's 2. Follow them both. I got a Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. And please don't forget to answer those little questions. They're not that hard. And they tell me you're not a bot. I don't pay for subscribers. I don't want bots. It's pretty simple. Woo! Wow. Okay. I'm going to get out of here. This is the last thing. Monday nights, I go live. Monday Night Toy Ramblings, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch me. I'm always there, always live. Other than this, if you're watching this right when it comes out, because Joe Fest, I won't be back by then. Here, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop an Assassin's Creed figure or NECA video or something like that. But this time, I'm getting out of here. Up here is going to be the first Assassin's Creed figure that I did, and down here will be a playlist of all the NECA figures that I've done, and I've done a lot of gargoyles. Take care.